we had a lot of discussions, but nothing, no direction, no directional discussions. There's not gonna be a road come through your yards anytime soon. Nothing's that I know of. Tyler thinks it might be something proposed here.
It's been proposed.
Has
It's
it?
been proposed. Yes, in the last meeting, it's been proposed.
Well,
There has been property surveys that have been done. And the intent of this was to ensure that they are brought up into light to where it is now and what could affect their property. It's not to put anybody on notice and on blast. It's they need to be made aware, and they were not made aware. And had I not been at the right place at the right time, I would not been made aware of what is going on. So they have every right to be made aware of what could be happening in their backyard. And the fact that the fact that a permanent structure has already been proposed and brought up is concern enough that they need to be made aware.
right, but so the road is to ensure that you have quality sewer, that when you flush your toilet, it's gonna work. No backing up, no flooding your basement. So the town has to have access.
There's nothing that's impeding their access.
You just said that we already have a logical sewer system.
Well, we've had
Just
it.
said that.
Best. You said we have the best.
No, no. Well, we do. We have the best sewer plant.
Yeah, that's your plan. And like you said, you just
Yeah.
said we have the best in the.
We do.
school district.
And we're trying to maintain that.
We've lived there, as Tyler mentioned, I can't even count on my one hand, how many times anybody, any sewer truck or anything's been back there after to tear up something. I only
Yeah.
remember one myself, is when they replaced that lift. And they didn't tear up the yard that bad.
Well, that situation was spring, thaw,
So, I mean,
And-
to put a permanent structure on it just to agitate homeowners, because that's basically what's happening.
well, as the town needs to be able to
You
access,
still can.
yeah. So that may be just gravel. We're not talking a paved highway,
Only rock back there.
but it's an it's an easement. The town,
It was an easement.
well,
To my understanding, and when Tony gets caught up on the computer, to my understanding about the easement is, so from the statutes that Tony provided and the Indiana Supreme Court decisions regarding easements that Tony provided that we've reviewed, it's difficult to contest that the town has the right to the utility easements. Whether or not they vacated that 33 feet to the property owners back in 1984, I think was the date, give or take a few years, the town still has easement and access rights to fix and maintain public sewage and utility lines that pre-existed the giving the property up to the landowners. The issue becomes is to make sure that the town has always had access back there. They will continue to have access back there by natures that have already been done, is to ensure that no permanent structure is put back there and no land grab to take back any part of the 33 feet that were deeded to the landowners prior to anybody on this council takes place. And to ensure that no structure, to include playgrounds, sheds, privacy fences, gardens, or money well spent on the best yard in town gets destroyed for a permanent structure on a limited, extremely limited basis.
in other words, we don't really use it. And if we've allowed you to mow it and take care of it like it's yours, but if we need to take care of a pump so that the town, so you can flush your toilets, we're gonna do it. We have the legal right to do it.
Nobody's questioning that.
Yeah. So it's
All
to
we're
get
saying
into
is-
your property, into your personal property, no. Now, if you feel like the easement is your property because you've mowed it and taking care of it. Well, and we've got another issue where a gal's landscape planted trees. I said, there is a stormwater drain, 24-inch stormwater drain right here. You cannot do it. So we have issues. We're not gonna ask for permission. We're gonna come in and fix it because of all the houses and basements and people property that affects, just because you want a nice yard and it's not yours, it's the town's. And if you want to mow it and maintain it, she says, I don't care, pull it out.
The easement
Well,
doesn't
that's-
give ownership. The easement does not give ownership. It just allows access by the town. The ownership still lies with the property owners. And we need to make sure that that stays that way, that nothing that was vacated by the city back decades ago is taken away and given back to the town. Easement does not give ownership. It does not. Ownership still lies with the property owners, and it needs to remain that way. Easement, got it. It does not give ownership to that property.
Tony?
And if I can kind of, you have to understand, I mean, you guys are all, family, you guys have lived here for years. No one wants to, ruin what you've built. You understand? I mean, you guys already know that. And really what Don is saying is correct in that those easement rights, they don't get extinguished. The statutes and like Tyler had said, in the statutes and the case law I provided, when you vacate a road and there's already been established utilities under there, it's clear that those easement rights are not extinguished by that vacation, by vacating, giving back that land. Tyler's also right that with regard to your ownership of the land, sure, you can use your property and enjoy that. However, that case law that I also provided says that your rights to use that land in that easement is subject to the utility repair purposes. And so what has happened at the prior town council meetings was there were discussions and concerns about wanting to make sure you guys have continuous utility services out there, because for all municipalities, your core purpose is to provide the road access, to provide trash removal, to provide electricity, sewers, water, and so all of those are too expensive for one individual to do themselves. That's why you have the municipality receive tax revenues to be able to pay for those major projects. So with these utility repairs, they are given the highest priority. That's why this guy, Tyler, and all of his guys, when there is a utility problem and you got a water main that breaks, and it's 20 degrees below zero and it's 2 a.m, these guys get their butts out of bed and come here and repair these problems. And they can't, when they're doing repairs like that or sewer repairs, you're going to be really upset if your toilets aren't flushing properly, right? It's an IDEM problem. You get IDEM down here, and then it's going to make life hell here for the town and the town council. And so with those utility repairs, you have to be prompt. You have to be immediate. And so Tyler, the way that the easement laws operate is that if you put a structure, whether it's a shed, or if you decide you're going to put a garden within the dimensions of that easement right away, within those boundaries, the town at any point can go ahead, remove that, and then charge you with the expense of that removal. The town doesn't want to do that. There's been no discussion, and Tyler, you can vouch for this. There's been no discussion whatsoever saying that people are wanting to do this to get back at you or treat you poorly. What they're concerned about is they're concerned about the continuity of services. And if there is a sewer backup, And if you can't get a truck back there, if you can, great, no problem. But if you can't, due to conditions, something we had talked about at I can't remember if it was the last meeting or the meeting before that, but if it's during the spring and the ground's really mushy, I think what they've done previously is they had to use a backhoe to drag out the vac truck when it got stuck. So, if you can't get the vac truck to that lift station, then that's kind of the concern here.
I interject.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and by all means, I'm not trying to insinuate that anybody is trying to go after any property owners or what have you. By no means, and I don't think I gave anybody that impression when I
I
spoke
heard
with them.
land grab, and that was the part that kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
So there's a reason I use that verbiage, and that can be brought up that later.
But my point is that after I investigated everything and we saw that this easement exists, at this point, my advice to the town council was that don't mess with moving forward with the survey and see if the homeowners will be willing to grant you an easement because the town already has one by law. So that's why
But a
I
survey
didn't,
was
I didn't want people to get stirred up by that word choice because the way it stands right now, that the town has that easement. There's
So
no taking occurring.
So the word choice and the reason, well, let me finish my previous point and I'll go back, and the reason why I use that verbiage is no one's trying to insinuate someone's trying to destroy property and take it. Easement has always been granted by 3 houses to the east of me by that property owner to get to the vac truck. From his wide driveway that he's allowed historically town access to get through to the pump is a mere 300 feet. What has been brought up and discussed in this board is upwards of a 900 feet gravel easement, splitting through the stakes that these individuals have seen through their yard. That cannot be done. There are cheaper and just as effective options that need to be discussed to ensure that a vac truck or anything large get back there in a timely manner should an emergency arise on any utilities. I I would imagine, and I don't want to speak for everybody, that everybody understands that necessity. But the fact that that was discussed as a viable option in this meeting, that cannot happen. That cannot happen. It does not make financial sense or a safety sense. And I know that I've sent the emails to the other board members outlining my expressed concerns. So the reason I use the land grab is in a meeting, it was discussed that letters be sent to the homeowners to where they sign regarding this easement. And there still needs to be clarification on what that means. And to my understanding, there should have been or could have been an ordinance proposed tonight regarding that easement without prior discussion or optics from the town council. Seems like that may not be the case. So the clarification needs to be made. Was that discussion of an option that was discussed and sending letters out and then coming to the town council to sign the letters? Is that a simple acknowledgement of an easement existing, or is that deeding over the 33 feet of proposed gravel roadway back to it?
Sure.
That has never been clarified, and maybe it should, on to what type of verbiage is being put into that ordinance. So it could backtrack if I used aggressive terms for the land grab.
Yeah.
But that was a big concern and a red flag for me when I heard that being discussed as an option. And then that option was brought away from the table of notifying the town members and the affected property members because that easement exists. I understand it exists, but they need to know what could and the options that are being discussed, what's happening in their backyard.
Sure.
So
And
if
I'm
that,
happy
if
to
that,
clarify
yeah, if that
right now.
backtracks the maybe aggressive verbiage that I used and shouldn't be, but maybe that needs to be clarified. And I was hoping to get that ordinance today so we can have that discussion, but it sounds like that may not be the case.
No, and for clarification here, and this is for all you guys here. So, anytime you have like an easement, whether it's for utilities, things like that, um, you typically will send out a letter to that homeowner or homeowners, and you engage with a surveyor to be able to draft up the dimensions. They have to draw the dimensions, give a legal description for that easement corridor, okay? And so what you do is you always ask the homeowners if they'd be willing to give an easement voluntarily. The reason being is because that benefits the homeowners. If you want them to fix your sewers, you're damn right you're going to give them access to the properties so they can fix it. If you don't, you're a fool. The other thing here is that so we always try the path of least resistance. That's why we're going to send out letters and engage with the homeowners and see if they'd be willing to grant that utility easement. Well, our surveyor went through the recorder's office and found this survey. I'm blanking on the gentleman's name from heck, I think I was maybe 5 years old at the time. Okay, I'm 45 now, and that that survey indicated in there that it had been a vacated road and that there were utilities under it, but that they had reserved those utilities easement. The statute and the case law that I provided that I found later, after we'd already discussed possibly sending out letters to each of the homeowners to try and formalize that easement access so that the town can go back there whenever they need to and be able to do the repairs to that sewers. I like the fact that there are homeowners who are willing to say, you know what, come through my yard. I don't care. Fix it. No problem. Take the shortcut. I think that's great. But at some point, if you die or you sell your property, the person who buys it may not know about how you have historically allowed the town access to that repair. Let's say the town did a repair 10 years prior and it didn't come up in the discussions between the seller, you, the seller, and the buyer of your property. And so the town is not going to go ahead and if they ask that new homeowner, hey, we want to be able to access your property, we don't have any legal right to, but the guy before has let us do it. If they become stubborn and they say, no, I'm not going to let you do it, that's delay. That's a problem. You know, that is going to be an IDEM problem. You're going to have, you know, problems with sanitary sewer issues, right? And so when the surveyor was looking at this and going through the recorder's office to see if there were any recorded easements, he came upon this survey that referenced that. And from the plat, when that neighborhood was first subdivided and recorded, that plat referenced it as a road. Okay. And so when we got that later information and I brought that back to the town council, it was at that point where I said, there's not any necessity to reach out to the homeowners to ask them to deed an easement to the town, because by operation of law from the Indiana statute and that case law, and the fact that that was a vacated road, it had utilities underneath it, and you got a survey that's decades old that references that there was retained utilities easements, the town doesn't have to get from you guys a recorded easement anymore because it's already been there. Just no one here on the town council, none of you homeowners knew about it because it's so old. Those utility easements run in perpetuity. They run forever because if there was not a utility easement back there, and if that the sewage wasn't able to be repaired, those lines weren't able to be repaired at times, who the hell is going to buy your property if you don't have working toilets and plumbing? You can't do and so that with the town retaining that easement right, which it's always had, it's never abandoned, it still has utilities down there. It's in your best interest as homeowners that the town uses its utility easement to continue to do those repairs. You know, there have been I think last two meetings, maybe there were some discussions about, hey, is there a path of least resistance? You know, you need to have a balance there of efficiency, while taking into account your interests as homeowners and what your preferences are. But ultimately, it's the town's duty to maintain those utilities. And I don't know what the circumstances may be. I'm a planner. I would rather be over prepared than under prepared, especially when you're talking about people's utilities. Um, so it may sound harsh, but I would rather focus personally if it were me. Thank God I'm not on the town council. I don't have to make this tough decision, right? But I do have to advise the town council as to what is in the best interest of the town. And that includes maintaining reliable and efficient access to be able to fix those utilities. So
Do we already have a survey done?
there's no need for a survey.
There was a survey
It's a
done.
platted road.
There was a survey done in September or October of this year.
Yeah, very Bunnell,
That was,
very Bunnell.
It's not.
But my concern is they had
Oh,
flags in their yard. You guys had flags in your yard.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
concern, but they didn't have letters before they were.
No, because whenever you're doing a utility easement, you have to get that survey done so that you can provide a copy of that easement to the homeowners and say, this is what the easement area would look like. Does that make sense? So that's,
Last 20 years as that pump went down. I mean, honestly,
For 40 years.
yeah, or however long it's been there.
I have asked that question to
prior
the individuals.
discussions, they said there may be 2 or 3, something like that.
Every 5 years.
You said.
There
it
you
was
go.
your-
Road back there?
You-
I'm sorry, I can't hear both of you guys.
I'm
If we can just kind of take turns.
Any reason for a road back there? I mean, honestly.
Yeah, so there was a discussion and something that I pointed out again. I would rather be over prepared than under prepared.
Off the town, money to put a road back there than it is for them to come get Andrew's backhoe to pull that truck out.
I understand. I mean, if
Wasted money.
if Andrew's backhoe is broken and not working,
To call somebody else.
well,
We're gonna jump.
Yeah.
All day
Yeah.
about whether.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with you.
Right now, the fact that all this is happening, we haven't been notified, and it's going right through my entire yard. Right now, we're the only ones who own that property where there could even possibly be a new house. Soon that's gonna be Andrew King that owns it. And unless he wants to put a house back there, there's no reason for there to be a road there either.
well, and you also speak of efficiency and what's more efficient, 300 feet or 900 feet of paved road? Because you're talking easements and access. If the easement and access is already there and it's already given, permitted by the person that's saying that, yes, you can use my yard and go 300 feet. How does it make sense to put a road in if you've got a closer access point and already given permission?
Right. So if I can answer, and I kind of already did a little bit on that. So with an easement, it's something that runs with the land. And what that
Right.
means is that any future owner of that land is going to be subject to allowing the town to have its equipment pass over that area. That way the town doesn't ever have to ask permission on those easements. So that's why I was saying that if you have a homeowner who grants verbal permission, that is not permanent. That can be withdrawn at any point.
Make it permanent. You can make it permanent.
It already is.
That's what.
No. Well,
That's,
I think they're saying from another, I think they're saying from the 90 feet versus the 300. Was that going through someone's yard? Like a side yard?
it's somebody that gave permission for the truck to go through their driveway.
And I get what.
Back
he's-
to the
he's
list.
saying. That homeowner may not.
Yes.
listen forever.
Right.
But the only thing I'm saying is the homeowner back there, I don't have a problem with the easement.
Yeah.
What I have a problem with is evasive road.
Yeah.
That really is not necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say at this point, we're not to that point.
Yeah.
Like we're still gathering information, which is why we're glad that you're here.
I don't think there's anybody would disagree that.
Yeah.
we want access to our
Right.
plumbing or sewer.
Right.
But what I'm saying, we don't want an evasive look
Right.
back there.
Yeah.
And to me, gravel and a paved road.
Yeah.
is evasive.
Yeah. And I think what Tony's trying to say is an easement is owned by the town. So the town can do whatever the town, like,
I'm not
they-
disagreeing.
yeah, we as a town we don't want to be as invasive as we can be. Like, so this discussion is relatively new to most of us. So we are still gathering information. Partly is for me is because I have kids and I was gone for a couple meetings, but this is still a new discussion. So we are not in any point that we're like ready to put.
Well, the other thing too is, why is that lift station back on his property?
Well, the lift
It's never
station,
on an easement, it's in his property.
I would have to look at the,
He'd be out on city property.
I think
That was-
I think it's within the easement.
yeah.
It is.
Pretty far, I bet part of it's still in his yard.
It is within these.
It's completely within, so.
They wouldn't have put it on
Yeah.
private.
Yeah, I mean, we even talked, Tyler, at one of the meetings about what would be the cost to relocate that.
Mhm.
And anytime you're talking about relocating any utilities, whether it's water, sewer, I mean, it's a 6-figure, even if it's just over like 3 feet.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
it's ridiculously
grants for
expensive.
that though also.
I'm sorry.
You can get grants for some of that.
Well, usually your grants are for new builds. They're not for any maintenance or repairs. That's the horrible thing with the grants. They will give you the money to help you build it. All the maintenance is on you.
Mhm.
And so when you have aging infrastructure, actually Converse has done a really freaking good job
Yeah.
with its water
Yeah. Agreed.
improvements, getting rid of lead pipes.
Yeah.
In fact, when we went through the grant application process regarding trying to get a grant for the water tower repair, Converse didn't get highest priority because Converse had been diligent in its replacement of old water lines and water mains.
Yeah.
So, and Tyler does it now. Ed did a phenomenal job for years, and Tyler has as well. But it's so with a short move like that, there's still it is when I see the budgets on those, the estimates, you just it's terribly expensive. Terribly expensive. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. So you said it's gonna be like in the 6-figure range?
Yeah, usually whenever you've got a water line that's getting moved, I remember I think wasn't there a water line move on 18 back? This is before your time, but I think it was like 800,000, 900,000, something like that? Yeah, I'm just ridiculously, and that was terribly expensive. Water is much more expensive than sewers though, because
Double up on that?
yeah, go for it.
Why don't we take some of that money, use it to do like minor repairs and then use the rest of it to like put it into like school system or something?
So the funds and Kathy, you can probably answer this better than I can, but a lot of the funds that the town receives are earmarked for only certain uses and purposes. Okay, so like your water and sewer fund, those are used for water main repairs, things like that. It's for the electricity for running the pumps. Those pumps run pretty much 24/7 or
Yeah.
I mean, it's terribly expensive how much it costs to run the utilities. And even, back during COVID, you had the cost for pumps doubling and tripling within the span of like 6-month periods there for about 2 years. It was ridiculous. So a pump that would maybe cost you $6,000 before, that they were saying, okay, well, it's going to be 18,000 each now. And so the town had done a lot of, hey, how can we refurb our pumps, to try and cut costs? Even those were terribly expensive. So you've got certain funds that can only be used for certain expenditures. You can't route it over to an unauthorized use. If the town council did that, poor Kathy would get in big trouble. The auditors would rip her a new one. And for heaven's sakes, the town could get stuck with the cost of the audit, which could be tens of thousands of dollars. And Kathy could be criminally charged And, I mean, it's happened in Bunker Hill. It's happened. There's a lot of problems with that.
The reason
So-
that lift station is there, sewer gravity flows. We don't have to use electricity, any energy. When you flush your,
I understand why it's there.
Yeah.
It's just not, it shouldn't have been put that, in that spot.
well, the problem is you guys live on a hill. Your bank's going down to the creek. And so if the world was flat, but that was put there, engineered, so the houses east of it, your sewer line runs as high as it legally can, and that lift station is as low as it can, so that when you flush your toilet, it gravity flows to the lift station. But shit doesn't run uphill. So there's a lift station that literally pumps it to where it will gravity flow to the sewer plant on the west side of town.
And Andrew, I think I better come back. Just, you've had a couple of questions. I know Andrew raised his hand a moment ago, so.
My question is, it doesn't seem like the town council is aware of why there were surveys. So if the town council is not aware why there were surveys, or maybe they do, then why were there surveys done and who ordered the surveys?
Sure.
It's not asking of ownership of land.
Yeah.
Because the land has been granted back to the homeowner with an easement.
Mhm.
You
Well,
found the easement.
No.
What's the
no.
surveys for?
The easement was retained. So,
It's retained.
yeah, but here's the thing. At that time, we didn't know about that
At
old.
what time?
The
Sorry,
survey,
what
the
time?
time of the
Well,
survey.
and yeah, so.
This discussion started.
Well, no, so what I'm saying here is that. So when that survey, Barry Bunnell was engaged, they said, hey, look, we've got this, lift station back here. During that time period, there had been a couple scenarios where it had to be repaired. Tyler was super helpful. He's like, yeah, no problem. I've got no problem, go back there. And he's been cooperative with that. And so I said, really what needs to happen here is, if there's a utility back there, we need to make sure that there's an utility easement that's recorded, that is a record. And so that's where we started, because we were investigating to find out, to see, because anytime the municipality is doing utility work, it has to be able to legally enter onto that property to do the repairs. And so, Andrew, what I was saying in that progression of time was chronological. That so when we did it, when we knew utilities were under there, we knew that it was a platted road at some point that had been vacated. Because you can see just for that straight corridor that, okay, that's what happens in the smaller towns where it was platted out as a road. It was unimproved. So that means that, grass grows up. It looks just like grass. But then, so I said, okay, if there's no recorded easement back there, we need to find out if there is one. If there's not, then that's when you engage the surveyor to go and come up with that legal description, to go out there, mark it, and so that he can just legally or describe the legal dimensions of that easement. So then we can take that to the homeowners and say, okay, we need to have access back here for the utilities because there are utilities under there. This is what the dimensions of the easement would be. This is how it's legally described. Here is a copy of that. So it's got the picture and describes the dimensions and angles and distances of that defined easement area. And while that surveyor had generated a first draft of it, that's when I reached out to Barry and I said, Barry, this almost looks, as straight as that is, it almost looks like it was a platted road originally. And so I asked him to go look and see if there was a recorded easement there, see if there was a survey of some variety. And that's when we found that old survey where it references that was a vacated road and that the town had retained, I think it's sewer and electrical construction utilities back there. And so that's when, as we learned this, you see, the way that I always,
I think what he's trying to ask.
Yeah.
What he's trying to ask.
yeah, if I'm missing it, please
Yeah.
help me.
I think
Yeah.
you missed it. We understand the whole survey process.
Okay.
and how that goes.
Yeah.
I think what he's trying to ask is, where was the communication at when you say we discussed this was going to be done? This wasn't we discussing it. This was actually presented to us.
No, it was the town council where
When you
where,
say town council, I'm on this board as well, but I was never aware of this happening until recently. This was all something that just like, hey, this is being done, surveys are being done. I never said, hey, let's do this. I never had any authorization and input on this whatsoever, and this was being done. I think that's what he's asking. Where
okay, yeah, so,
Understand easement, understand process.
Yeah.
Understand surveys, but there was
So-
no letter, no information sent out to anybody to.
I mean,
right, we don't normally send out letters until we have all of our ducks in a row, and then in that letter is where I would enclose a copy of that survey.
Comes out and starts putting stakes in the ground.
Hmm.
That alerts people, like, what are you doing? Oh,
But where did the conversation start to get this process to start moving forward?
Yeah, so over the years, there have been repairs that have had to occur in that lift station area. And so I'm aware of that. I've been the town attorney since, I think it's about December of 2012. So it's been 13 years. And so as for the work that I do, on some of these side issues that come up, I may get a call from Kathy, or I may get a call from Joe, and they say, hey, this has come up, Tony. And then that's where I'll be asked about legal advice, things like that, where they'll say, right? And so then what that does is that is how I then prepare to be able to do work for the town, so that I'm prepared when I come to a town council meeting, so I can adequately advise them. So I can have a conversation with Joe, or I can have a conversation with Kathy, because if something happens and it's been 3 days since our last town council meeting, and if it's an emergency matter, I don't want to hear about this almost a month later at the next town council meeting, where it's too late to act, or too little time to be able to do research and prepare and protect the town's interests here. So I don't represent this guy, this lady, this guy, this lady, or Joe. Ethically, at all my seminars, my municipal seminars I go to every year, they say your client is the town. And so that's my job. So if I have a town council member that tells me something that, hey, Tony, I don't want you to do that, that's fine and dandy. But if it's not in the town council's best interest, then I'm going to advise them of that. That's my job.
So ask for the survey to be done.
I had recommended it.
Ask for the survey to be done.
I had recommended it. I said,
Upon recommendation from one town council member, or two, or.
Ooh.
I mean, but no, it seems to me like a lot of council members that don't know this took place.
yeah. So
That's why we're here, like,
yeah.
what's going on? They can't answer the question.
So this had been like an ongoing issue over the years, where there have been repairs, things like that.
Can somebody give me a quantity, how many repairs they've done back there? You have that
did I hear
documented,
two?
because I'm gonna tell you, it's not much.
I think Don was
Maybe
probably
every
about
5
right. It's like
years.
every 5 years or so, something like that. I think that where this came up, and Tyler, I think you owned the property at that time, where I remember that maybe it had come up in discussions maybe a couple times. And when I say discussions, that's where, like, for instance, if I get a phone call from town council president, because that's usually the person I interact with most, Joe, and I interact the most with Kathy. If there is if a town council member has some other issue that comes up, let's say that there's a utility issue, and if they reach out to me, then I'll discuss that with them. But with all of your, I shouldn't say all of them, but the vast majority of your municipal law work, the attorney is going to be in the most contact with the president and with the clerk treasurer, because those are the people that have most of the negotiations and efforts pertaining to applying for grants. Anybody that comes in with an issue, they usually come into the town hall here, and they go to Kathy or they go to Krista. So that is so if you guys want someone to crucify, it's this guy then, where I said you need to have a survey because you need to be able to describe that property in an easement. Now, we didn't send out letters because we didn't have all of our ducks in a row, all of our research done. And yeah, I would love to be able to say, you know what? We know everything at the right time, but that's not realistic. It's not. And so that's why we ultimately didn't send out the letters, because at the last town council meeting and after the research that I had obtained and provided, and again, the town council can't act without a vote. And so, for instance, I can't have a conversation here with the majority of the town council members unless it's a public meeting like this. And that's why you have a town council president or a clerk treasurer, so that I can get the stuff done that I need and be prepared, because otherwise there would be all illegal meetings. If we got on and we had a majority of people, that is a violation. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I understand, everything you're saying, but also at the same time, the survey was done right around midsummer. My question is, when would we, as the public, be notified of what is going on?
So if we were moving forward with it, and we needed that easement to be recorded and granted by you guys, that's when I would have sent the engagement letter. I would have sent the letter and said, hey, the town has utilities within this corridor here. Here's the survey. For the town to be able to legally go on to access the property and be able to do repairs, the town has to have a utilities easement to be able to get on there and fix that.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well,
So because
also
we didn't get to that point,
we should have been notified.
well, I can't undo what's been done, just like I can't undo the fact that lift station has been there.
No.
Okay. So I'm a small town attorney. I always prefer to be able to have my ducks in a row. And I'm sorry that your feelings have been hurt. I'm sorry that, no, I'm serious about it. Please don't take that wrong. Okay. Well, but what I mean by that is that if the town was prepared to move forward with that avenue, that's when we would send the letter. Okay. And so as we did further research, the obtaining recorded easements from the homeowners isn't necessary, because Indiana law already has reserved those utility easements for the town's use. So yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so you have the ability to overrule a survey. Is that what you're saying?
No,
Okay.
please don't take that harshly, but no, I'm not saying anything about overrule.
No.
A survey is a drawn, it's where a surveyor goes out, maps out dimensions. He'll often use GPS markers because they're accurate to 1 inch. And he'll line up angles and distances, and angles of the corners of a property. And then they draw that up. And then if that survey is used, it would be recorded, and often that survey would be recorded in conjunction with a deed. So if the town needed to get an easement from you guys as homeowners, it would define in that survey would be attached to the deed. We would have to get split approval to get authorization to split off that area there, to then record that easement. So I'm not overruling anything. I'm just saying that I'm changing directions on how to deal with this problem. So because the town already had that reserved easement, that's why we don't need to get easements from you guys later. And that would have been terribly expensive for us to get the legal descriptions for each of your little segments of that corridor behind your homes, and for me to prepare a separate deed for each of your properties, and that would be super expensive. So I, so that's why I told the town, I said, don't move forward with this survey because it's not necessary. By law, by operational law, the town already has that reserved easement, those utility rights.
So are we paying for a survey? Is the town paying for a survey?
The town already paid for it.
When you say we already paid for it, this, we're talking about, we already paid for it years ago, or we just?
No,
recently?
I don't remember exactly what the
October,
time.
September timeframe of this year, so just about 2-3 months ago.
Yeah, so
The other concern I have is, as a board, was that presented to the board that we're gonna have this surveys done, that we approve to have this done?
no, so I had advised, I said, look, we're gonna have to get a survey done for this. So that was based on advice of legal counsel, because
And why would
that's
that
the
not be
normal
advised?
process on how you do it.
Being advised, wouldn't the whole council be advised?
There had been prior town council meetings where there have been discussions about the lady who owns that property. I mean, there have been prior discussions
I know there's
about,
been discussions about, accessing points.
Yeah.
of that.
yeah.
But we, as a board, has never made a decision on moving forward with maybe possibly doing surveys or having these things done.
I've advised at several of the town council meetings over probably the
Have
last
any of the board-
year and a half. They were here. They were here because I said, we need to get a survey. I can't do anything with getting these easement rights without a survey.
But did we vote on that as a board? Did you guys ever, because I was going, I had soccer games and stuff.
No, this is before that. I mean, this is with over the last, I would say, year and a half to 2 years, where there have been discussions about that. Even at town council meeting where I
never heard of any discussion
Okay.
on doing any kind of like taking back any property from.
No, there's no taking. There's no taking at all.
I'm
That's
talking about actually putting some form of road or any kind of permanent something back there. This is like the first time I've
Yes,
seen it.
there's
Yeah, I think
ongoing
the
discussion.
I
road,
don't think this was ever discussed.
I think the Stone Road came up probably over the last, 2 months or so of town council meetings. Is that about right?
Yeah.
So, but no, that easement access has been discussed, and I've said I can't do anything without a survey. And
I
I've
was under
said
the
that on
impression
several
this was
occasions
actually
here.
Something that was already drawn up. There was going to be an ordinance that they were wanting to have approved to be able to put this road in gravel wise.
There
I
was
don't even know if we even had it.
there was a suggestion to do a resolution, is what there was. It's not needed. It truly isn't needed. If a resolution was done, it doesn't change anybody's rights, doesn't change anybody's ownership interests. All it would do would be, it would record in the recorder's office, what we found from our research. So that if this issue comes up 20 years from now, we've got a resolution that attaches those surveys, shows that, what the circumstances were, so that it's documented, it's part of the permanent record. Because some of the surveyors, and even some of the towns, like for instance, and this has been an issue in a lot of counties where the municipalities don't record their vacated streets, do they? Their ordinances.
No.
No. Yeah, they don't do it. A lot of them don't do it. They're supposed to be. That's how you guys get that's how you make that record, to show that you guys own that vacated portion of the street or the road or the alley. And so that suggestion there at that town council meeting, which I think was either the last one or two ago, is probably the last one, where suggesting to pass a resolution, just factually showing what our investigation what the results of that investigation were, so that then people know about it and they're not blindsided by something that's been done decades ago. So that is why that was offered resolution wise. It doesn't change anybody's ownership interest. It doesn't change. No one's losing anything by that resolution being.
Nothing that was gonna be passed, say they were gonna put the gravel. Like that was never.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
Let me speak.
I'm sorry. I was told to never stop asking. On the
What I'm saying
military.
is the resolution was never, the
Um,
point of the resolution was not.
So
They
if
kind of-
you're gonna post like, hey, we're gonna do a survey. Would you post it here or?
No,
You
we
would
would,
just
we
send
would send a
letters?
letter. We would send a letter after the survey. After the survey is done, we would send the letters
It
to,
used to be before, because I have a
I know
two
that
and a 9-year-old
but
grand,
there was no decision that the ground road. was
and a
in.
9-year-old
That was not part of. the resolution.
grandchild.
No, they're talking
both
about
of
the
them,
cost.
Whatever.
Yeah, that was not the resolution.
And one of them went out and was
That's what I'm
eating
saying,
the
like,
grass
that's-
from the spray
We didn't ever
paint
do.
where they were doing the survey.
okay,
I know.
so,
We need to
know.
be
I think
informed
we changed the
before,
resolution.
so,
before that happens.
so
Nothing
with,
to do with
again, with the, because the town already,
survey.
I understand what you're saying.
It's already been done.
Yeah.
You know, Barry Bunnels,
That-
super
that
nice
was
guy, family man. He's not gonna pose any risk to your grandkids. You know, he can't be out there and babysit the grandkids, you know? So,
That's what I do.
you're right, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, if they're eating the orange spray, that's not the town's fault and that's not Barry's fault. Cause,
But we were informed that the survey was
The
happening,
discussion that needs to be.
so we didn't know the
Well, I
payment
thought I've
was gonna
already
be
said
there.
that. that's-
so what I'm gonna tell you is I am sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that made all of you guys feel really uncomfortable. And I can't undo it. The only thing I can do is say, I'm sorry that
You know what
that
Right, you only got-
was upsetting to you guys.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm.
And so normally, yeah, go ahead.
There's the one of us here that is upset about the easement.
No.
Everybody wants their utilities taken care of.
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna say this clearly. We just do not
Want to-
want a road back there.
Which makes sense.
It's just, it's not necessary. I mean, I bet he can't even tell me how many records out of probably five by hand. Over 30 years, so I know what's been back there and what's not, and I can only count two.
I'll say this. Can I say something?
Yes, please,
Yeah.
Tyler.
So, the more I dug into this, what I was told from people that have been here for a long time, it was a handful of times that we've had to have the back truck back. So as far as what I know, how many times it's been repaired in 30+ years? Probably less than 5 or 10.
Well, from what I understand, you guys have went to a different type pump back there anyway. That pump's been replaced and updated.
Well,
And it's been a little more proficient, because I can remember that light going off all the time. That has not happened in I don't know how long.
Well, since he took care of the issue.
I don't think there's a one of us that don't want our utilities maintained or have access to easement. What we're saying is we don't want an invasive look back there.
So in conclusion,
Yeah. Yeah, yes.
in the spring, we had issues. Our vac truck tried to access it. It got stuck. It made ruts. It had to have a backhoe, pull it out. So we need a gravel base, so our 20-ton vac truck doesn't sink in the mud.
We don't need, this is a
So-
solution that was discussed. So.
When you say we don't need, when we need every 5 years, we can't have our back truck sink in the mud and have a backhoe pull it out. So we're not gonna put any wider access, 10 foot. It's gonna probably be a 10, 12-inch gravel base, so the truck doesn't sink. And then the grass will probably grow up through it
This has not
because
been, this is not,
Why is it, I'm hearing a different opinion that there's not gonna be a road and you're almost.
because some people know how their world works and other
Well,
people don't.
that-
Some people,
No choice in the matter.
Right.
well, and that's why there's a council though.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's what, that's why there's a council. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So it comes down to a council vote. The town has the legal authority at any point to use, and Don mentioned 10 feet. The easement is that dimension of that vacated road. So it's greater than 10 feet. I didn't want
no,
you
but
guys
the
later
gravel,
on.
if we put a gravel load road back there, it's not gonna be wide than it needs to be. So-
Road go back there, you'll maintain it and you'll cut the weeds out, cause I'm done.
Well, then you're gonna look at it every day,
Every week, hey, come spray these weeds.
but you're gonna be able to flush your toilet and it's gonna flush and it's gonna be maintained. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we've discussed this quite a bit. I'll say it, my position will always be maintained. There will not be a permanent structure in that backyard if I have any vote against it. There will not be.
Yeah. Yep. I
And
think
that's-
discussion is good.
And that's a-okay. I mean, that's what the town council votes for.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, I don't anticipate any vote on it tonight.
No.
So, but, you know, I
Rest
appreciate
assured.
all of you guys.
I'll let you know. Yep, I'll let you know. So, yeah, rest assured that
Well, and two
I
things,
will always vote that there will not be a permanent structure back there.
and we always invite public to come to meetings. I mean, it's the second, what is it, the second week of the month, every month?
Second
Second
Thursday. of
Thursday.
Second
every-
Thursday. of
we
the
don't
month.
we don't meet December.
Yeah,
Right.
but
But like, as homeowners, we're not here to anger the board. or
Sure.
make
No.
idle threats.
Yeah.
We're here to come up with a solution.
sure,
That benefits the homeowners.
Yep.
That's appealing.
Yep.
Not only to the town, but actually the homeowners, we live back there 24/7.
yeah.
I want to let you guys know I work for you guys. So
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
that's just
It's not
my
the,
time.
when we say the town, we mean you. It's not the land, it's the people.
Way that
Yeah.
We don't want somebody back there fixing our utilities. That's
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
And all we're trying to do is be able to do it. So
But
it's
there-
spring and it's sun,
there-
Tyler,
There is other appearance ways to do this and it's cost effective.
how do you access through mud if you,
They do make, utility companies do them all the time.
They got those big skid things they can drop. Yeah.
then you gotta purchase the skid things?
Well,
Oh,
it's
the-
cheaper than a
the
gravel
road,
road.
yes.
Gravel road is gonna
Yeah.
cost over 100,000.
But this is definitely not a place that we're making decisions. We're still discussing, invite discussion for sure.
We apologize for the survey that you didn't know about and assuming that we didn't know about it, I knew about it in discussions. Knowing,
Were you part of the process to approve it?
I can't remember we taken a vote that we need to do a
There wasn't
survey,
a
but
vote.
that was just-
I just commented at several town council meetings that it needs to get resolved and that I can't do anything
can't-
on that.
we can't go
unless there's
forward
an
without a
easement.
survey, so.
Or unless there's a survey.
I don't
can't
remember
draft
the vote.
anything without a
Hey.
survey.
Am I shocked that there was a survey? No.
You can't move forward with what without a survey? You already have the.
That
We
we,
did-
that we
we-
need to make steps that our
Yeah.
backstruck doesn't get
I
stuck.
don't think that anybody in the utility knew there was an easement there
Yeah.
until after the survey, when they dug in later
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
100%
There.
correct. 100%
I've been-
correct.
Hey, there was an easement back
I've
there.
been there to probably the least amount of everybody, and I knew when I first.
There's a lift station back there. Has to be an easement.
No, but here's the thing.
Exactly.
Well, an easement is typically recorded. That's my point is you're saying you knew there was an easement because people have gone back there and repaired it, right? That's what I'm saying.
It's all right.
I understand.
Well, everybody in their right mind, I know the easement of the utility.
Right. But
Well, this little final discussion.
you don't just say, you don't just assume.
Yeah.
Right? You check, you verify. And so when there was not a recorded easement, that's why I was saying that's something that needs to be remedied. And then through our investigation, that's when we later found out that you don't need one because of this vacated road. And we found that old survey where it referenced the fact that there were utilities back there. And that was a vacated road. So that's why we didn't have to move forward any further on it. That's why it's that timing is really important. And Tyler is spot on. And that's what I was trying to explain. I think, Andrew, you've asked that twice now about, and so that's what I'm saying. We didn't know about that road being a vacated road and that there had been, and then when I found that statute and the case law, and then we found that the surveyor found that survey from decades ago where it referenced that vacated road
Okay.
with the retained utilities. And
Okay.
I'm
We
kind of
got- all
like
right.
a broken records. I keep saying the
Yes.
same thing.
We got stuck, we can't get stuck, so this is discussion, we had survey done and the survey, oh, we own it, oh, great, so now what are we gonna do? We don't know what we're gonna do, we appreciate your discussion, your concerns. And Tyler's got a vested interest, he's got your back. So, that probably happened March, April, and here we're at today, we don't know what we're gonna do. We need to be able to access it. It's getting older, it's gonna need access more and more often, so. Yeah,
Well, and we've
you
got,
can't move it because of the elevation. I mean, there's there for a reason.
and the town has 4 other ordinances that it has to act on tonight.
To make a gravity flow, if it's 10 feet deep now, it'll have to be 20 feet deep because you live on a hill. So it's there for a reason.
Rest
Well-
assured, we're not making decisions right now.
Yeah.
We're taking discussion, we're talking, we love hearing from you guys. So thank you for
Well, I
coming.
think the concern is that there were gonna be decisions made. That
Not
were-
tonight.
Not through the, not through the council.
I'm just.
Yeah.
That's the concern.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and just like, exactly why, just like Andrew said, we felt like decisions were already made when we go out and see flags, paint, sticks.
Yeah.
But, so where the flags are, is that where our easement is or are those survey points? You know,
You know, today's the first day I heard anything about flags, so. I don't
are
know.
there still flags in your yards
They
or
were-
stakes?
after
or-
Day one, they went by the,
There's still 2 big stakes right where you guys are wanting to put the road.
Okay, so that is where the easement is, I'm assuming. So that's where the town has legal right to do.
It's the easement is whatever the dimensions of that road were when it was originally platted.
So it's 30 feet wide. If we put a road in, it's gonna be 10. I mean,
Nothing's
Trucks.
being voted on
truck's
tonight.
5 feet, 6 feet wide.
Yeah, nothing's
Yeah,
being voted on. So.
so
Thank you guys for
Yeah,
coming.
thank you.
Thank you.
is Bryce
Bless your heart.
basement flooding,
We should let you
These-
go first.
heavy rain?
Yeah,
please.
yeah,
So, I don't know how much you guys can think about this. yet.
not much.
Let me give some history. I bought the house, 105 East Sycamore Street.
Okay.
What's the
What
address,
say
I'm sorry?
it is?
105 East Sycamore Street.
Are you good?
I bought the house in April of 2023. And in spring/summer, I think it was July when it first happened, we had a very heavy downpour of rain.
Mhm.
And I opened my basement, which was finished when I bought the home,
Oh,
and I had like a couple inches of water standing down there.
okay.
I've gone through great lengths to troubleshoot, investigate. And I'm not showing you guys this to say, hey, give me money. I'm just showing you the steps that I've taken to mitigate this.
So like you've looked to see where it's coming in.
I've had it investigated. I've had faulty pipe replaced.
Okay,
I've worked really close with Tyler and the Waterworks Company, so I want to thank them
yeah,
here for that because they've been great.
Okay.
They've stepped out of their way to help me. But so these are photos of what the basement was like when I bought the home. I think the last photo here is just a photo of like the pit that I have when it flooded. So disregard that. But these are just
Is that your sump pump pit? that I saw?
yes. Well, it was the one that was there when I bought the house.
okay.
Oh, this is before it
So
was
this is
finished.
the photos from the listing. I didn't think to take photos of my
Oh,
basement when I bought the house. You know what I mean? But
Right.
you know, and these are photos of what it looks like now after I've had to rip out the carpet
Sure.
and some damage that's happened.
Do
And
you have a working sump pump in the basement?
I do. So if you
Okay.
look on this, and well, actually, I bought the sump pump from that first invoice.
Maybe this one. This is.
The live, yeah. So
Okay.
the emails are the scope of what was done there.
Okay.
I bought
Okay.
a Zoller pump and had
Okay.
it installed.
And the pump that was there when you bought it, did it not work?
It was
maybe?
installed, but like after that first flood, it just burned out. It was like.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Besides, they'll encourage you to have backups.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Well, I've gone as far with the Roto-Rooter invoice. I've installed a new perimeter drain that's much more effective.
burner drain's huge. Yeah.
It's been routed and through a pop-up out into the yard.
Okay,
You did a
great.
perimeter drain? Is that what this is?
Yeah, so there's actually photos of the work that was done further along in there.
Okay.
Actually past all that.
Were the faulty pipes that were replaced, were they inside your house or kind of into
So
city
here's
area,
how
or
this all-
town area?
Yeah.
So how this works is this house was built in the 30s. And this is an old lateral drain, clay tile, style lateral drain. I didn't even know that drain existed until I pulled up the carpet and found there's actually like 3
Okay.
sections. It winds off.
Three
one goes
sec- yeah, right
forward.
here.
Yeah.
So it's in your basement, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right,
Uh,
I'm following.
So in both the Blue Fox and the Roto-Rooter invoice,
Mhm.
they ran cameras.
Okay.
When they go out to the side where the water comes in,
Uh-huh.
there's an inline P trap there that 90s. Their
Okay.
cameras won't go through.
Sure. Okay.
So that's when I've worked with Tyler to try and locate where this line goes, because
Right.
I have proper grading on my property, I have proper guttering,
Okay.
and the thought was when replacing the faulty section of pipe through Roto-Rooter was maybe groundwater was escaping in there and just coming up the floor.
Sure.
It wasn't until Roto-Rooter put it in that drain, and then a week later we had another heavy rain that I was able to watch the direction of the water come in.
Mm.
Now I have a way to extract the water now. It runs to my
Right.
sump pit and
Sure.
it extracts it, but
Right.
my main objective is to get rid of that line
Okay.
and to stop it, because if we have like an act of God rain,
Uh-huh.
that pump might not keep up, that water might still come over to the floor.
Right.
And actually, and I don't know what all you guys want to see, but I have videos when the city came in and took out an old meter in
Mhm.
my basement.
Mhm.
It wasn't connected right and it ended up
Mhm.
breaking in the middle of the night and flooding the
Mm.
basement.
Mm.
No news to me. My basement's been flooded many times before that, obviously. But anyway, I unscrewed that cap and watched it all drain really fast, and I have video of that too. But none of it went to my pit.
Mm.
It all just drained out towards the street side. And that was like, okay, I have to get this discovered somehow.
Sure.
So I had Blue Fox come out, and in their summary, they explain how they went to a city manhole and ran a camera through it
Mhm.
and found very faulty sections of it. And we put my garage hose down to my basement and ran it through that pipe and let it run for 20 minutes. We put blue dye in there. We were able to watch it come out. So anytime there's a consistent level of water, it's only been storm, there's no sewer. I don't have anything that drains into there. All my sewage runs out the front of my house to my crawl space. But anytime there's consistent water,
City drain.
it backs up.
What did they say was the faulty part of the pipes though?
The faulty part of the pipes was in that picture. There's 3. It wires off. One goes towards my garage. One goes towards the back of the house. One goes towards the street. It had just collapsed right there. So I had that excavated and repaired.
And so all that was in your property, right?
Yeah, so I'm not wanting reimbursement.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Blue Fox is saying that there is a broken drain line. Is that what I'm seeing?
There is
That they're saying that there's a city line that is a drain that is broken, so it's not keeping up.
So what's happened through the investigation with
Yeah.
Tyler, because he had the town of Swayze come out with one of those fancy cars.
Yeah. Yep.
And in both directions, they were only able to go like a few square feet or whatever.
Sure.
Because there's tree roots,
Right.
mud,
Right.
and then when I had Blue Fox from the camera, there was collapsed portions down there.
Okay.
But the water that I was running through my drain, it drained, it never backed up until we noticed, and I have video of it, when it went in the manhole, it went towards 1350. And then it's like it hits a wall.
Mm.
And then it started backing up into my house and going to my pump.
Oh,
where
I
it
see what
comes
you're
out.
saying.
So wherever my line
Mhm.
connects into the city storm,
Mhm.
whenever we get water like that, it
Yes.
just slowly backs up until it reaches my house. And I was actually able to unscrew that pipe and listen for the water to come from that direction.
Sure.
And I just got to protect the equity of my home.
Sure.
I'm not here to ask for a bunch of money, but I am tapped on
Yeah.
being able to do
Sure,
anything else. And
right.
then the only thing that would have to happen is either find out where that line is connected and to cap it off, because I don't have any need to drain it. And that protects you guys too, because I shouldn't be. I mean,
Sure.
I know nowadays you're not allowed to tap into city storm systems. Correct.
Right.
This is obviously
So it was done
original
maybe
to
a
the
long time
house
ago.
in the
Yeah.
30s.
Mhm.
So I'm here asking for help because I cannot financially afford to have my yard.
Is your ultimate goal?
This is where Tyler
Is your
steps in.
ultimate goal to get it capped at the city level? Is that?
Yeah, I just or I will get permission for my yard to be dug up either
You
by
just
you
want it
guys
disconnected.
or a licensed contractor. I signed up for Blue Fox's membership.
Yeah.
And if you do it under my name, you save 20%. I can't. I've spent 11,000 between the 3 invoices, and then I had a dumpster out throw away. If I can get reimbursement, awesome. But I know that with lines that exist on my property, if there's any
Right.
damage, I'm liable for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the other thing I want to bring up is the city maintenance on
Sure.
these old storm
Yeah.
systems that's causing
Yeah.
the root cause of the water flooding my basement.
Yeah.
I just
So
want
is
to have
there-
peace of mind that I can start fixing it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That's
So. And I'm gonna bring this up as soon as we're done with him. I only got two things, but we ran cameras down both ways of that drain.
Yeah.
And there is tree roots,
Mhm.
there is collapsing.
Yeah.
There's gonna have to be work done.
Yeah.
As far as, I can't say, it was the drain going back. I don't know. And I've told you that,
Sure.
but I can tell you on our end, there is problems.
Yeah.
And we've jetted, we've done everything we can do, and at this point, we're gonna have to start replacing storm drains.
Right.
Because they're over 100 years old
Yeah.
from what I know.
Yeah.
And they're clay, nothing's
Terrible.
been done to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to add to that,
Yeah.
like, I know that that's a long goal.
Sure.
And I'm just asking for just
Something
my specific
to-
issue to
yeah.
be fixed because I'm afraid for
We-
springtime.
Sure.
What we did, and I told him we would do this, we went to the front of his yard where we thought that storm drain would come out,
Mhm.
where we thought our line was, and we dug down 10 foot
Couldn't find
and
it.
there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So his line jagged somewhere
Yeah.
and we don't know without digging up the road.
The
So I
hole,
think
okay.
what, and maybe I'm wrong, but what he's wanting to do is dig up right where it comes out of his basement, tap it off.
Yep.
That way, if there is backflow on our end, it's not
Yeah.
going to your basement. Am I correct?
That, and I think it would be beneficial to, because that'll give us where it goes. It'll tell us what direction it leads.
Yes and no.
Well,
If we do it right out of your house and it jags 10 foot later, we're still
You
not
don't
gonna
know.
know where it connects.
Well,
with us.
maybe, but at the same time, you'd be past that V-trap system to where you can run a camera.
Camera. And see,
True,
and
yeah.
that's true too.
Right.
If we're gonna do that route where you dig right next to my basement, totally fine with that.
You just want
cap
it
off there.
capped. You want
The
it.
only other issue I could foresee with that
Mhm.
is if that still backs up in that direction, then you have a gap pipe just buried in the
Yeah,
ground.
for sure.
That could just,
I don't think that would be a long-term solution, leaving it capped there. I don't think that would be long-term.
We cap it where I'm at. Or
Right.
you just shove a bunch of concrete in there. I don't know,
Right, right.
The concrete will stop.
Yeah,
We did it
right.
that way.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm doing
Yeah.
I just was not gonna go onto his property
Yeah.
and do that. That's his home line. That's not our.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I think if the town does anything with that, I'm not saying we can't do it, but I think it's smarter to pay a licensed plumber to
For
do
us
that.
to pay. Yeah, right.
That's my
Yeah.
professional opinion.
Yeah, right.
You guys do it. That's why I have him here because I
Yeah.
can't make those decisions.
Yeah.
Now, what would be step one? Step one, cap.
I think step
That's the
one
bet.
would be have.
Yeah.
Step
Yeah.
one,
Go ahead. What'd
estimate
you
two
say?
cap
We're
or
talking about
estimate.
digging it up.
Yeah, I would call the company that you want to use because I think they're giving him a discount and see
an
how much
estimate.
it would cost
Yeah.
for them
They
to
gave
dig
me
it up.
roughly just to excavate right there by the
Yeah.
basement would be about 4,000 to 5,000
Okay.
before discount was applied.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, if I had the room on my credit card, I would just
Sure.
be doing it,
Yeah.
but I just don't.
And we just don't know where it hits our city. Okay. Okay.
And I wish we did. Like,
I
I said, we
know.
have a-
Place,
It's
so you
old.
can't,
Yeah.
you can't use your,
Is
you
your,
can't
I know
detect
with
it,
the
so.
other front, But yeah, well, I mean, from here to Bryce, we dug up
Yeah.
in front of
and you
his
couldn't
yard
Find it.
and 10 foot all the way down and
Swamps,
there's
nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, and what like Blue Fox pointed out after we looked at that manhole is it runs underneath the street. It doesn't run in line with the sidewalk where they dug.
Yeah.
So it might either comes underneath that alley right there off Sycamore, or elbow somewhere else.
Yeah.
is there a manhole anywhere
Yeah,
close?
but that doesn't tell us anything because the main storm drain line, like you said, is angled. So it's in the road. So I can't dig up the road.
Right.
To find
Yeah,
out.
A lot of times they run into the manhole.
yeah, and
Yeah, they do.
they do. So
Not
this is
his
what
line.
this
But
is
his
the
line does
video
have-
of
It's
Blue
just
Fox.
ours
That's
that
what
goes
the
down there and then there's
Pipe looks like
one
in the manhole, and that's the water that I ran through my hose. That's when it first reached there.
With the blue dot.
Well, the blue dye hasn't reached it yet. That's in the next
Yeah.
video.
Gotcha.
The thing is,
Cause that's your drainage tile that they cut into, is that right?
yeah. So you see that gray right there? That's
Yeah.
their blue dye. It just gets
Okay.
discolored when it hits the mud. Is what they told me.
Mhm.
But they ran a camera through that section, and it's all just collapsed.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I went as far as to call Shelley and Corey Smith. They were the homeowners
Yeah,
of this house.
yep.
They owned it for 19 years, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Man, we never had a flood
Right.
not in 19 years."
Yeah. Yeah,
It's something
Really
changed.
crazy rains though. We don't have
Well,
no rains anymore.
yeah, it's true.
I've
But
seen water standing in places that's never stood before
Yeah.
in town.
also clay tile.
Yeah.
So,
So I'm just hoping you guys can help me out.
yeah,
Uh,
okay,
and doing it this way, I think is the best way, because then it's insured.
sure.
So if something were to go happen
And it's
again.
not city working on private property as well.
If you can get us an estimate, like an actual, something we can look at and that we can have on, then that'll give us
Make sure
something to
it's
discuss.
itemized.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like broken down.
Material,
Yeah.
labor,
yeah,
so you clearly know.
yeah. Yeah, if you can get that to us, that would be lovely.
And if you want to call me and let me know when you got it, I can have Kathy email you guys.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
We can.
So then you don't have to wait for the
Yeah.
next meeting.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I will get that set up.
Okay.
So I give that to you, right? That's
Yeah,
what you
that's
said? Okay. Or Kathy or, thank you guys.
So, yeah, thank you. Sorry you had to wait
Yeah.
so long.
No, they really beat that horse dead.
Appreciate it. So you have found that a lot of we need to do some work.
Really the whole town.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
You want me to go in line?
Get it. Let's hear it.
Are we causing his?
That's, yeah.
Is kind of
part
what
it,
we
yeah.
see.
I would
I mean-
advise the voting on how.
Well,
Yeah.
Eric clapped
I mean, this.
storm drain.
You have executive sessions for those. Uh, yeah, and on top of that, you would have to have advance notice, and then you would have to, the municipality would have to be notified, have advance notice of it, and then not do anything for a long period of time to then be liable for it. So.
Oh, that's what your question was. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm saying is that any municipal liability, it's like the classic situation where you got potholes, right? Well, if everyone hits the pothole but nobody reports it, there's no liability for the municipality on it. You've done thorough investigation,
You brought it.
town
to
council knows about it, so now the town council needs to take action, so.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, yeah,
Honest.
yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Thank you.
Thank you for being civil, coming in.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
I've lived here my whole life. pretty
Yeah,
much. I
yeah.
moved away for about 5 years. I grew up on Wabash Street, that big blue house by Boardman's Inn.
Oh, yeah.
There.
Yeah, yeah,
So I love living
Okay.
here.
yeah. Yeah. Well, we're glad you're back.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Have-
Thank you. Thank you. Hit it. Hear it.
It's gonna come as a shock, but we're gonna need to start repairing some of the storm drain
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah.
I think a majority of them are clay.
Yeah.
The problem is we do not have camera. We don't have the camera system, so we've been relying on Sweetser and Van Buren
Okay.
to come over because they brought a push cam. We thought maybe we
Yeah.
could push it a little further.
Yeah.
And that's the only one we did. And yeah, there's a lot of issues and it's I don't think it's repairable issues. I think it's
Yeah.
time to replace. So I kind of talked to Kathy and I said, I know we're not gonna do this in a year period, but maybe over the next 5 to 10 years, we
Yeah.
need to come up with a plan
Yeah.
to say, okay, this section is next year.
Yep.
This section and start replacing the storm.
Yeah.
Because
Do-
they need some love.
Do we have a way to
There would need to
grade?
be increases in your stormwater to be able to
Oh, in the
plan for that
budget. you mean?
too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you're gonna have to increase your rates to,
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah.
start collecting more funds to anticipate those segment improvements, so.
Is there a way to grade, like, in your opinion, like what needs, which section needs to be done first?
If you let us buy cameras.
You can see.
Yeah, yeah.
How much are cameras?
Which kind?
Your dream camera that you
Yeah.
would want.
A push camera, straight push camera, I think last year we were around 12,000. To get a camera that's on wheels that will go anywhere, I believe is around 80 to 100.
And how much is it costing to have other municipalities come in?
I don't have the sheet in front of me. I have connections at Van Buren, so that was worked out.
Okay. What about Swayze?
$100 an hour, something like that.
I want to say it was 150 for them to come over and then a set price per line. And we were looking at 100 feet and I think we were going to be around $500 a line.
Okay. Okay.
So for them to come over and do it, it's probably Well, I don't know. I don't know because I don't know how many
Right.
feet of storm drain. And the other issue we're gonna run into that I'm, that this one down on Sycamore is Jimmy has stated that he's tried to find where it comes into the
Mhm.
creek and we don't know where it is. So we don't know if the creek has rose
Yeah.
over the years.
Right,
And that
yeah.
might be causing part of the
Right.
issue, but
It's
it's gonna be a segmented thing
Yeah,
that is gonna need to be done. I'm just making you guys aware. of
Yeah.
this.
yeah,
If not,
Yeah.
we're just gonna continually have problems and we might as well just shut down the whole storm
Right.
drain.
Yeah.
Lot.
I can't do that. So what's the new material that's used then for that?
other than,
I mean, is it like
Yeah.
PVC or something?
I'm not
I don't think I'd
on
be
the
lying.
wastewater side yet.
Okay.
oh,
I can
Craig could
find
have
out.
answered that.
I assume these are probably like 6 inch. Are they?
I think the one that's in there now is.
What?
Oh, it's 8 inch? Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Wastewater's 8 inch. You're talking wastewater or stormwater?
Stormwater.
stormwater.
Okay, you said waste. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't,
I'm assuming-
Craig could have answered that when he was here. I can ask what they're made of, but
Well, cause like, over at the Boardman Gym area in the new addition over there, when they were laying all the utilities out there, Ed asked them to lay wire core through it so you could, you can detect it.
Mhm.
So if the new materials aren't ferrous, then, good idea to run that wire line through there so you can detect it. So then we don't have these problems going forward of not being able to find the lines.
That's a problem with
A lot of older municipalities.
not just us.
Oh, no.
Just-
Yeah.
So that's the first thing we got. Obviously, we can talk more about it later because nothing on that's gonna happen overnight. But I wanted to make you guys aware as the first step, so.
do you feel like having a camera obviously is beneficial to us? Do you feel like it would be something that you would be willing to go to another town? Like kind of what Van Buren does? Like, is that something we could make money off of maybe?
Yeah. But how much, I don't know, because
Right.
if some of the other towns already have
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
then
Yeah, I just didn't know if most towns have them now or.
Because we
I
use
would
more than just
love-
this line. We use it for a lot of different. purposes.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we, so far since, and I've been here, it'll be 2 years in March. We've had a camera run twice.
Okay,
So one was for down by where Joe lives, there was a wastewater line that we had to get done, and then this line. So the condition of the rest of the lines, I really don't know, and I won't know unless we start. Be the first step.
If we purchased a camera, it would be definitely used over the next
Oh,
5
yeah.
to 10 years.
Yes.
yeah,
But, and I'll say this too, is I'll play kind of devil's advocate on both, because I would love one.
mhm,
But if there's blockage and we spend the $80,000 on that cam and there's blockage 10 foot, 10 foot, 10
Mhm.
foot. Then
we could have done it
Then
for, yeah, right, right,
as an, you know what I mean? I'm just
Yeah.
saying that it could end up being. Yeah, long term, it would be great, but it may not be super beneficial right away.
right,
I think
You
maybe.
spend
higher-
$1,500, 2,000 a year versus, 65, 85,000. It was 65,000 last time we looked. And technology is constantly changing,
Correct.
and it's like 5 years from now, when you can have, for that kind of money, somebody that's familiar with it
Come on.
come in, their knowledge, their knowing how to use it and what it can do, its capabilities, it's like, that's a no-brainer. I mean, you spend $65,000 in 10 years or less, it's gonna, like, and maintaining it,
Mhm.
the lenses and the cams to run it, and because they get flipped over and all kinds of crazy things happen. Now, if we're in a major project where we need to
right, using it,
camera every,
I'm not
That might
saying
be
we wouldn't
different,
use
but-
it because I know we would use it.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's justifiable, right?
right,
That's how I,
that's what we looked at, 5 years, 10 years ago, when we got the vac truck and we
Now
got
that is.
the
I'll
cutters
just-
and,
I would.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, yeah.
But, so that's the first thing, and then the other thing that I got is I did pass my WT three.
Yes,
Which-
yeah, that is not easy to do.
That's what I did.
So good.
Harder than Jimmy, I'll tell you that.
Congratulations.
Uh,
We knew you could do it.
The next
Not
step is getting additional.
I did,
tuition,
but-
so that'll be my next test, but I'm gonna wait till the beginning of the year to take it, so I can, it's been rough
Yeah.
with this test, so I'm gonna enjoy the holidays, and that's all I have tonight.
That's great.
Speak with you all.
Any more questions for Tyler?
I do have something for Tyler. So
Yeah.
I am the bearer of bad news this entire evening. So whether it's copy machines or yeah.
Land grabs, right?
Angry people. So, all right. So, one of the ordinances that we have to pass tonight, actually it's a resolution. There are two that we have to pass tonight. One is the ADA. And so with the ADA plan for our NDOT grants, we have to, what was it last month where we had to get this done by December? And because we don't meet in December, I've got two resolutions, one for an ADA, so it's the any of your curbing and make sure that your properties are accessible for disabled individuals, and so as part of that plan, we have to designate in there the municipal properties that we have and what has to be upgraded to make those ADA compliant. And it also puts in there what the costs are to do so and the priorities. So for that resolution, for that ADA policy, which are one of the two massive documents I've got here, there's going to be some yellow highlighting in there for different properties owned by the town, including sidewalks and things like that, where we have to put in what the estimated costs are for those repairs and what the priorities are, low, mid, high. And I don't know any of that stuff. And so that's where I kind of need your help in that.
Tonight? Cause I'll tell you, I'm not gonna be any.
Oh, I know you're not. I know you're not. Because what I was going to suggest to the town council is that review this, and I'm going to tell you that with the ADA policy, Kathy was kind enough to make my life a little bit easier and get me a sample from, was it Viterberg?
Yeah, I think so.
So, and it took forever just getting that updated and tweaked for Viterberg. And then the other one that has to be passed tonight, so that for our person to qualify for grants, is the oh, come on, it's the Title VI plan. So that's where the town agrees to not discriminate based on age, gender, country of origin, age, all that fun stuff. And so on those two, they really have to be passed tonight. And on that one, I don't have the US Census information for 2022 for the town of Converse because the website wasn't working. So I have highlighted in yellow on each of those two resolutions the information that I don't have tonight. And so if the town council, and that sample, I pulled samples from town of Lowell, and that's like 40 some pages combined, 38 pages. So it's not a small project. So on your end, Tyler, I just need help with the numbers and what needs to be brought up for ADA compliance on the town properties. And my recommendation to the town council would be that you act on it the same night. You vote to approve it with whatever the values are and determinations that Tyler puts together for the ADA improvements that need to be done and the values. And then so he'll be able to get that information put together and write that in. And then that would be done by because I think it was end of December. And I know that nobody wanted to come back for a December meeting because we do the Christmas party. And this came up, I believe it was at the October meeting. And so I knew my only time to get this done is this month. And of course I had fall break and of course too. So I was gone for about 9 days in there. So it's been a real fun roller coaster. So
So
that was my request on the ADA.
Give me a deadline, the date.
I mean,
Tomorrow.
no. No, it's Kathy, do you happen to remember the date when we sent in that information where we emailed in to say that we would have that plan completed within 90 days?
It was before I applied for the grant.
It was like, actually, it was the day of the grant application,
Okay.
of the deadline.
And that was that August something? Was it August? Yeah, they came out and released in July. We had till August something to get it
August
done.
26th or
And
something
I
like that.
put it out way before then. So,
So we have a 90-day window there, and if I recall correctly, it's in December. So if you'd like, I can find that email and I can give you a call tomorrow on that date. Is that fair?
I'm off tomorrow, so don't.
Fair enough. Yeah, and so that's just the part that I don't have on that. And
So if I have it to you by December 1, that's big.
oh, 100%.
Okay.
100%. Yeah. So then that's the one I had for you on the ADA because
That's all you got?
Ed always has been Ed always has been kind of the ADA guy, and he's our ADA complaint guru. So anytime he's our designated coordinator for those complaints. And so in the Title 6, the non-discrimination, any of those complaints, we've got Ed listed as well. So
he's still employed by the town right now, so
correct.
I didn't want to throw you into it.
yeah,
Not yet.
yeah. Well,
So
since
we
I've
left Ed.
since I've been here, I don't think there's been an ADA complaint. There hasn't been a Title 6 complaint. And so the funny thing is the last time that the town council updated its ADA plan was 2012, 2011, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so realistically, and so the good thing to do going forward is review it. I believe it's annually.
Yeah.
If not at least every 3 years.
Okay.
So now that we've got a good working sample to work off of,
Yeah.
it'll be way easier going forward. So so that was all I had for you, Tyler.
I'm gonna take it.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. So, did you guys want me to go through the ordinances and get those plowed through for, or are there reports from anybody else you want to go through first?
You
I got one thing.
gotta
December 4th,
go.
5-day Christmas in Converse. I'll probably start closing the roads down between 4 and 4:30, like usual. Depends on what they got coming in. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's probably right. That's probably right. The Santa, Mrs. Claus will be at the library at like from 4:30 to 5, and then the fire truck will go. Yeah.
Light the tree and.
Yes,
okay.
yeah. That, I think that's at 5:45, then he's at the library from 6 to 8,
I'm guessing.
or at the bank, I mean,
It's what, Wabash to Railroad closed.
whatever we've
And then
done.
Brandon Street.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And then probably water out here, the first block for the horses.
Yes, yeah, it's just the same old thing. We have the exact same. No ice skating rink. Unless you want to buy it. It ain't cheap.
I'm sure it's not.
No.
That's all I got.
Okay.
The only thing I have is we're doing our Christmas party a little different this year. It's gonna be December the 11th at 6. But we are gonna go down to Jefferson Barbecue.
Well, that's
And it's
smart.
gonna be just the
I love that.
adults
Yeah.
this year.
You said the
So,
11th at 6 p.m.
December 11th at 6. If you can let me know if you're coming, I've called Lindsay and she's got the back room for us, so we'll just give her a better account how many people.
We actually might not have basketball that day. I might.
Good.
That's like a miracle.
Mine's always on Christmas and Congress. I've never been to one Christmas.
Oh, no. Oh,
Because it always has,
if it's that case this year, then we'll figure something
oh,
out.
I might see if Roger wants to work,
Yeah, that's what I said. We'll figure something out.
and I can come over after,
Yeah.
I'll set up and then go
Yeah.
and come back
Yeah.
after.
That's the only thing I got. So just
Okay.
get back with me if you and your wife, your husband make it.
December 11th,
You,
Yep.
huh?
December 11th.
It's a Thursday.
December 11th. That would have been a council night.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's why
smart.
I kind of
Yeah.
decided at 6 o'clock down at Jefferson.
Now, have we always done it on council night?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, I
You-
thought, we always
I've
seem to
always-
schedule all my kids' programs.
We had
at school.
programs,
Just,
yeah.
I'm
And
hoping that we're not doing, yeah, I'd like to know.
we thought that might be nicer with all the camera stuff. We don't have to worry about trying to move stuff around here at the town hall. So
Yeah.
give us a night out.
Yes.
My in-laws can have the kids, so they'll be thrilled about that.
There you go.
Or I don't have a
There you
birthday.
go.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
So.
And I'm not Rotary president, so I don't have a Rotary Christmas party either, so that's good.
Great.
Well done, yeah.
I'll put you and your wife down as yes. That's
Okay.
2 there.
Sounds
Okay.
good, and I'll donate to paying for the Christmas party like I always do. Yeah,
That's all I
Pleasure.
have, guys.
my pleasure.
Oh, that's nice.
Tony, you got anything else?
I got
He
plenty.
does. No, he
All right.
does, Don.
So,
Let's do
let's
it.
try and plow through these here real quick. So ordinance number 22, 2025. Every year, in November, we have to prepare our, wage and salary ordinance for,
26.
for 2026. Thank you. No, I'm just looking here and I'm realizing my paralegal did not attach the exhibit to it.
She didn't.
You okay? Can I do that? All right.
That actually says what the salaries are.
Yep.
I kind of figured.
Let's pass that around. I am so sorry for that.
All right.
So what that does is the exhibit 1, that is the updated breakdown as to what the 3% increase is for everybody. It has the same language in there that treats the overtime pay for the utility workers. That's preserved in there, of course, for any hours they work between 35 and 40 and above. I looked at last year's one of our ordinances from last year also, where we added in the actually sorry, it was earlier this year where we did the flex pay.
Mhm.
And looking at that, I did not have to add that in because it was a separate ordinance, and so that is in addition to the increases. So yay, I don't have to remember to put that in each year. So that 3% increase, that is what has historically been done each year. So that is what those amounts would be on ordinance 22, 2025. You'd be acting on it the same night it's introduced, so you have to vote and have at least a 2/3 majority vote of the town council to act on it the same night it's introduced. So I would encourage the town council to vote to approve in 2 motions. The first one, acting on it the same night that it's introduced. And if you got a 2/3 vote to do so, then you'll vote to approve it and adopt it tonight as well.
I'll make a motion
For the first one.
for the first one.
I'll second first motion.
Motion from Chris, second from Bridget to adopt
Same night.
same night this ordinance.
And I will
22?
make, go ahead.
Ordinance 22, 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Is it 4?
Yeah, there's 4 of us. Yeah.
None,
4-0.
so.
Yep.
Then, I need a motion to approve it.
Motion.
Second.
Motion from Tyler, second from Bridget to approve. Ordinance 22, 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you all for doing that. I appreciate that.
Much.
Let me see this.
Pass that around.
I signed that one.
That exhibit.
And that exhibit needs to be attached to it. So write exhibit 1 on the top if you can there, Don.
I think it says it, doesn't it? At the top. Then it say exhibit.
Oh, yep, sure does. Sure does. I am sorry for that.
I have it.
Okay. Alrighty, so then ordinance number 23, 2025. This is an optional ordinance. Kathy reached out to my office and said we might have this here if we need it. And
I took
Ed.
Ed out, because he's not really, I mean, he comes in only one day a week.
Right.
And Grayson Galloway
Okay.
is the other kid's name that works for Tyler,
Gotcha. Okay.
the third employee. That would be Grayson. There you go.
So Jim,
You take the place
Ed,
of
Ed
Ed.
Asher
Ed.
should be Grayson Galloway. Sorry, Tony, I didn't realize Lindsay had Ed in there.
Nope, you're fine. You're fine. And so with the last year, Kathy got a because of the inflation, there was last year there was a 3.5% increase in the consumer price index, the CPI. This year it's gone down to 3%, which is still higher than desired. And so Kathy last year had a $2,000 increase, and if I recall correctly, everybody else had $1,000. I can't remember. Did
Yeah.
Tyler get 1,000 or 2 last year? 1? Okay, so then it was Kathy that was the only one that got 2. Everybody else got 1,000.
Well,
So
Are you talking about bonus? When they do your bonus?
this was this is in connection with compensation for longevity and or to adjust for the elevated inflation rate. So this is discretionary if the town council wants to do so. I left blanks so we can just write in the dollar amounts. And actually up here where Ed is there. we
Yeah,
could
Mark
also
Grayson.
Yep. Yep.
Make a motion that we approve ordinance 2023 for 2025.
With what amounts for?
What we did
Increase?
last year is like 1,000 for the 2,000 for
2,000 for Kathy.
2,000 Kathy, 1,000 for.
I'll make them.
You guys could raise, since we're kind of all department heads, us
Yeah.
3. Maybe you would want, I'm gonna suggest put
Yeah.
Tyler and Tyler up to 2,000 and then put the employees at 1,000.
yeah.
Can we afford it?
Yeah. This, I'm not saying yet for next year.
Next year, we don't know.
But for now,
Figure that out.
we're okay.
I
But
agree with that statement. 'cause they
I
are
think
both-
since we're all department heads,
And then 1,000 for the remaining employees.
yeah, Grayson, Jimmy and Krista.
You think Grayson deserves the same amount as Jimmy and Krista?
Yeah,
Well, he
he's
just-
been here a year now, hasn't he, Tyler? And I mean, I think
Jimmy's been here 1,000.
Yeah.
And then those that longevity pay to adjust for the elevated inflation rate that would be paid before the end of this fiscal year. So
You know, Brett. Other ones you got threatened to take away, so hold up, I'm getting one. there.
Oh.
Yeah. Trying to pay back 3,000 back to the hospital, or 30,000 back to the hospital out of our contract. And they're eating us alive. They're
Oh.
eating us alive, so I don't know if I'm gonna get a bonus this year.
The second part about being self-employed.
Yeah.
No bonus?
Do we have to remake a motion with different numbers?
like, okay.
Make a motion for the raise the price for the department heads to get 2,000 for the bonus and 1,000 for the remaining employees, and to approve these percentage raises as well for the ordinance 2023.
I'll second.
and we need to act the same day, introduce.
And I'll make a motion to act on that as well.
Okay, so we'll start with that.
Yeah.
Let's start with that. Yeah, let's
Sorry.
make a motion to act on ordinance 2023 or 2025.
A motion from Chris, second from Bridget to act on Ordinance 23, 2025, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion passed. Got a motion from Chris again? Tyler, you want to jump in there?
Yep, I'll second it.
A motion from Chris, second from Tyler to accept ordinance 23, 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all for that.
And then, what I've got here is resolution 24, 2020. Since this is a resolution, an ordinance is binding on future boards, okay? A resolution is where this is the vote of your present board, and that resolution could be changed at any point with a different board composition. So this resolution 24, 2025 does not need to be adopted in two motions, okay? Ordinances do, but since this is a resolution, there would just be a single vote on this. And this is the, again, resolution 24, 2025. This is the abbreviated, it's adopting the abbreviated Title VI Plan Non-Discrimination Agreement for the town of Converse, Indiana. And what this is doing is this is establishing here the town council's Ed Asher as the complaints coordinator for any Title VI complaints. It identifies the policies and procedures for investigations, complaint information, or investigation. If you look at page 9, that's where it's highlighted in yellow. And that is where you're going to see some spaces in there because the U.S. Census Bureau, their website was not working and could not provide me with that information. So the best that I could do to accomplish this is to put in blanks and ask for leave from the town council if they would be willing to adopt this resolution and authorize me to put in that information from the U.S. Census Bureau to then have that be completed. This resolution has several signature and date locations in here where I've got Joe as town council president signing those with today's date. I didn't realize Joe's not going to be here. So if we instead wanted to cross out and then Don, you as vice president, if you wanted to sign that and put vice president in front of it, then that would resolve that matter. And again, the only parts there I've got highlighted in yellow with my color copier, which it's nice when it works, but yeah. And we've got there the appendixes. These appendixes or appendices are what have to be attached to any of the public works projects where there is a reversionary interest. If there are any violations, it also allows the town council to be able to cancel any of these contracts. If there's non-compliance by any of the contractors, if they are discriminating against their employees or subcontractors based on race, age,
Yeah.
all the impermissible means of discrimination, then that allows the town to be able to enforce these terms, and also includes a complaint log that has to be done. And also, in addition to that, there has to be training. So there's a training log in here to train the employees on, and so it's pretty exhaustive, and so I would encourage the town council to. We also had to include in there language identification cards for anybody that comes in, and if they can't read these, use the identification card to determine what language they can speak. Coordinate with the state of Indiana to find some translators to be able to get documents translated to for them. So so that is all of that resolution 24, 2025. I would just encourage the town council to adopt that resolution. And authorize me to fill in that information from the US Census Bureau for Converse when that website is functioning properly. So
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, second.
A motion from Tyler, second from Bridget to accept resolution 2025. All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And what I'll do, Kathy, is I'll check tomorrow and see if their website's working and get that information, and then we'll probably handwrite it in and we
And
can,
then just send me those pages to
Correct.
put in. Okay.
correct, yep,
Okay.
yep.
You want me to sign where president is? You're gonna put vice on the end of it or just?
You can write, vice with a little arrow up underneath. So town council, write vice with a little arrow pointing up, and then president.
Vice president?
Mhm.
So sign down here on town council, then
I would just have you sign here and write vice with an arrow that points up. Vice, yep, you got it.
Plastic
Then
tile.
page 2.
With core.
Yeah, there's two places there.
But he said it depends
Yeah,
on.
page 2,
uh,
and there's another one.
Depends on if the
And
reason
your
why it's getting
workout
replaced.
Joe and
So like
you.
if there's a bunch of roots, it would change it. If it- Like it just. That's
And it's
plastic,
done.
plastic,
That can be done.
black plastic.
It's roots,
Oh,
if
page
it's slabs,
13.
if it's something
Thank you.
else.
Yeah, I was looking for it, so page 2 and 13.
2 and 13.
Okay,
Well, and part of it too is you like, if it's because a bunch of tree roots and if roots can infiltrate plastic, you're not gonna, you know what I mean? Like,
Anything for 24.
No.
It's just you doing that.
correct,
Page 9 and 10.
correct. Yep.
Okay.
correct,
So there's
right.
all sorts of.
25. So title has to help.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I can't, my brain, my
No,
words,
Di-
like I
Different codes for different, yeah.
feel it and I can't make my tongue say it.
So thank you all for that. And then I've got resolution 2025. And this is that ADA, transition plan that I had talked about earlier. And so, again, this is for the town council to be able to qualify for federal grants, anything with, NDOT funding, because that, has, federal funds coming in. And so with this, thank you again for the sample, Kathy. That made my life
you.
way easier. And again, this is you will see in there, any sections where there's a dollar sign highlighted in yellow with an underline, those are the sections that I talked about earlier where, Tyler would then would be putting in the dollar amounts for the cost of those ADA improvements. And so I would encourage the town council to, and I've got, again, Ed Asher as the coordinator to deal with any of those ADA complaints. And of course, it has in here investigation policies and procedures for any of those ADA claims. And again, I would encourage town council to adopt this resolution and author with the ADA compliance improvements that need to be done for the various areas for the town of Converse and those estimated dollar amounts. For Tyler to make those dollar amount edits there.
Motion.
Motion from Tyler, second from Chris to adopt resolution 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you for that. And I'm sorry for the short time on that. But again, we had like 90 days to
Yeah.
put that together.
It was a lot.
More place to sign?
On this one, I don't believe
think
so.
so.
I think just
It's
first
still
page.
He also has a
Mhm.
contact. We
Correct.
can get it His name is, Wendell Cates. He's a dealer at Prattville.
Anything else, Tony?
I do have one more, and that's just on that, resolution. Kathy had indicated, I think maybe a month or two ago about, she is receiving, I think it's MVH funds, she's receiving in, CCD,
That
which is,
commercial vehicle excise tax.
yes. And there's a portion of those funds comes into the Community Capital Development Fund. You said it was the MVE,
I actually told him, I said, I'm
MVH,
gonna be on
the
that.
general fund, and then the park fund. And so, so Kathy needs a resolution that authorizes her to bring in this lump sum payment, right?
Mhm.
And then break that up into the separate accounts so that those are earmarked, those funds are properly earmarked for use in those accounts that they come in. And I think at the meeting maybe a month or two ago that it was based upon percentages, and looks like here this 2.5% goes into the CCD fund, Cumulative Capital Development Fund, which is often used for doing repairs to your infrastructure, your buildings, things like that. I think historically it's worked out to like a $5,000 or something about each year.
Yeah, what we get in,
Yeah.
property taxes.
Mm-hmm. And then park fund, 10% of the funds that would go into the park fund. MVH was 19%. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then 68.5% going to the general fund. And I'm sorry that Lindsay had begun work on that, but I didn't have the time to be able to get that finalized for tonight. Those two big ones were higher priority, had to be done. So what I would encourage the town council to do is to vote to approve a resolution for Kathy whenever she receives in those funds.
I got them Tuesday.
Tuesday, to authorize her to designate those funds 2.5% to go to CCD fund, 10% to park fund, 19% to MVH, and then 68.5% to the general fund.
We only got $840, so we get it twice a year.
Yeah.
That's better right there.
Yeah, so
86
take a moment to
to,
break it down. So
yeah.
So we need a motion
We
for
get
that.
it in
Yeah.
June and November.
I'll make a motion to approve. Have to be able to.
I'll second.
Resolution 26.
Pardon?
This is resolution 26.
Yes.
Got a motion from Chris,
Second from me.
second from Bridget to accept resolution 26, 2025. All in favor?
Right?
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, guys.
Anything else, Tony?
I think that's it. I really appreciate you guys sticking around here and plowing through all this. This is kind of like our end of the year rush.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poor Kathy. She's done all the hard
I
work
know.
from budget and
I
then
I got year in.
and then the year end there too. So thank you all for that.
Yeah.
So old business, new business, that was all. We're all good.
I got nothing.
Tyler Hagan.
No, thanks for the spirited discussion and clarification on everything today. I don't think it was in anybody's intent to poke fingers or
No.
betray anybody out. So if that came out from me, that was not my intent at all. It was just, I have some big issues with that, and that's all. But so thank you for the candid and open conversation from everybody on that one. So.
You know, I can say that I think that, yes, it was a circuitous discussion, very long, but
That may be the first time I've heard circuitous and used properly on top of that.
Tyler, my work here is done.
Well, well done.
But I think that with that discussion, I think it was very productive, very fruitful. Everybody got to explain that, you know, no one's trying to ruin anybody's property or their lives. Everybody wants, I think, what's best for the town, and it's going to come down to a vote as to whatever that's going to be. So,
I always like it when.
oh yeah,
you get
yeah.
input.
And I'm sorry that their feelings were hurt. You know, I tried to always plan things, and I don't want to send a letter if it turns out we're not going to go that route, right? If I were to send a letter up front and then we complete our research and then I say, well, I did my research and you can just ignore that letter. And so I like to be able to complete that research before I end
But
up.
we leave a lot of open questions when we do not communicate with our residents as well. So that was a good point of mine.
Yeah.
So. Better job with communication and letting everybody know what's going on because
You start putting flags in people's yards.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about the flags. And usually whenever surveys are done, at least I don't usually see the flags. They'll usually use rebar.
well, they'll do a permanent marker
permanent
and
rebar,
rebar that's under the ground,
yeah.
so that's clear, but they will actually do a stick marker so the resident or whoever's in that zone can see it. So they'll, oh, yeah, okay, there's my marker.
Yeah, because usually on those boundary line surveys, in the legal description, they refer to the rebar that
Did
they
we have
hammer.
rebar put in this time on the survey?
I don't know.
I haven't. I didn't.
Wood stakes
He
that I
didn't.
saw.
He didn't have
Whether
the.
they were on
Those are
top
the
of,
stakes or the actual rebar.
well, yeah, whether they were on top of rebar, I don't know. They went up and let you know.
Yeah, he didn't. He had the mapping drawn for the survey, but he didn't have the legal description prepared. It was not a finalized survey. So,
Say, Bridget, you
I got
think,
nothing.
Chris?
That's all I had.
So I have concern with this Joe issue.
Well, if we-
How we go forward from here? What's the?
Do we need to shut off the meeting at this point? Can we
executive.
Yeah.
close to do an executive?
Executive means I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Motion to close the meeting.
Thank you, guys.
Second.
A motion from Chris, second from Bridget. Close the meeting, all in favor?
Appreciate it, guys.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Motion, meeting is closed.
Are we